let me put that question to Jasmine Shah. Because if 8 lakh and 9 lakh cusecs of water get released and it doesn't lead to this kind of flooding, then very obviously more and more sand has collected within the river, which means the moment more water comes from Haryana, instead of being able to stay within the river, it rises and it comes out, which is why all these people are having to stay out on the road tonight. Which essentially means that desilting, which should have been done by your government, which should have been done by the MCD, hasn't been done, which is why these citizens are having to pay, which is why their houses have been lost, their cattle. I saw several cattle in the water completely astray. People crying ki 1.5 lakh ki buffalo hai, isko kuch madad karo, iski madad, and no one was there to help. I mean, the NDRF did try and help to the extent that they could, but a lot of this is happening because there hasn't been enough desilting. How do you respond to the point made by the environmentalist, Mr. Jasmine Shah?
Rahul, I know this might sound like another round of pointing fingers at each other, but that is what unfortunately the central government and the Modi government has made Delhi to be, a complete governance mess. DDA, officially it is the Delhi Development Authority that has the command of the entire Yamuna area and the flood banks. That is the reason they are also doing Yamuna pedestrian pathways and many other development around this thing comes under the scope of DDA. Just until last week, you might recall, Rahul, in fact, few days back, an NGT had appointed a committee, made LG the boss for all activities related to the Yamuna. It was Delhi government that said that this is not possible for LG, an unelected person who has no accountability towards the people of Delhi, to be calling the shots on Yamuna. Finally, after many months, just 2 or 3 days back, the Supreme Court put a stay on LG as the head of the committee. So which means until now, it was the LG and the central government calling the shots. You ask us about Najafgarh drain, all the major drains of Delhi come under us. But when it comes to Yamuna, it is DDA, the center and the LG who are solely responsible for the mess that we are seeing Delhi today in.
Let Mudit Agarwal of the Congress respond, because on the one side we are seeing the BJP blame the Aam Aadmi Party government very predictably. We're seeing the Aam Aadmi Party blame the BJP, and the citizens in the capital now caught in this vicious fight between the centre and the state, neither taking responsibility, both blaming each other, and it's the poor citizens who are having to pay with their lives, with their belongings, being forced to be out in the cold, out in the open, out far away from their homes.
You are right, Rahul Kabal. So, see, I always see man is helpless in front of nature's fury, but it's also a fact sometimes man uses excuses of nature's fury to hide their own incompetence. So this is exactly what is happening in Delhi. Look at Kejriwal government. I mean, just go 2 days back. There were incessant rain in Delhi, and you know what happened. Most of the colonies were waterlogged. Whenever it happens, whenever it rains in Delhi, even for a couple of hours, there are huge traffic snarls and traffic almost moves at a snail pace. There's been a constant thing which is happening for last 4, 5, 6 years. So what has Kejriwal government done to improve cities' infrastructure? You see, this flooding is also a part of that infrastructure only. What has Delhi government done for sewer infrastructure in Delhi? Have they upgraded it over 9 years? The answer is no. What happens about drenching of rivers? Not happen. Desilting of drains does not happen. So, any parameter that you look at, there's been absolutely no upgradation in Delhi's infrastructure, and this is the result. What all they look for is, when it rains a couple of times, there are traffic.
Let Jasmine Shah respond to what you're saying, that the infrastructure upgradation isn't keeping pace. And what you have to say to everyone who's watching and everyone massively concerned about the level at which water has been rising in the Yamuna, what is your action plan over the next 48 hours, Mr. Jasmine Shah? Apart from praying to God and hoping for the best, what does the AAP government intend to do now?
Rahul, first let me give a very quick response to the Congress spokesperson who is just blatantly lying that there is absolutely no work that has happened in the past few years.
What work has
happened? Every person in Delhi would recall that please, I didn't interrupt you, I will respond to you. I didn't interrupt
don't use such strong words of lying.
For years after years, every time we would see that whenever...
Don't use those words, please.
No, you are lying,
don't
so
use those words
your lie, and I'll tell you why.
Don't use those words. The biggest liar is Mr. Kejriwal in Delhi. Kindly do not use those words.
Rahul, this is no way to have a
Kindly do not use those words.
Please keep ranting.
No, kindly have a civil debate. Do not use those words. Kindly do not
Okay,
use
one
those
at a
words.
time. I
I
can't
will
have
let you
both
use
guests
those.
speaking at the same time.
Kindly.
Let Jasmine Shah complete. I'll go back to you, Mudit, in just a moment. Jasmine Shah.
I was exposing the lies of the Congress spokesperson by giving one example. The classic picture of Delhi going underwater is when the Minto underbridge, very close to the Connaught Place, would always be flooded during the monsoon. But for the last 3 or 4 years, you have never seen that sight. Even 3 days back, when we had this historic, 153 has never happened in the last 40 years in Delhi. You saw even the Minto Bridge was underwater only for half an hour, Rahul. So there is a lot of work. Hotspots have been identified. Infrastructure is being upgraded. But yes, 153 of water has broken a 40-year record. And it's a very clear sign that a lot more work needs to be done, and we are committed to doing that. But let us also remember that center has a responsibility when it comes to Yamuna. If at the end of the day Delhi can prepare for what is happening within Delhi, if you're non-stop, if you're going to make sure that water is being released into Yamuna, you're not going to give any advance warning to Delhi, then forget Delhi. You see today the pictures of Noida. Noida is completely flooded. All the floodplains around Yamuna in Noida are flooded. UP is flooded. And that's only and only because center today refuses to take any responsibility. If there is a crisis in Manipur, Mr. Modi is silent. If there is a flooding happening in Yamuna and in the capital city where everything near Yamuna floodplains is flooded, there is no communication, there is no messaging. And I think that is the problem. We have to fix where the problem is. Of course, Mr. Kejriwal will do whatever needs to be done, ought to be done. Right now, we are committed to making sure that not a single life is lost, and we provide relief and rehabilitation to everybody affected. But the good news that we have heard from in the last couple of hours